Okay. It is now live.
Awesome.
Yep, there it goes. Okay, now it's live. Okay. So let's see here. Go back to the questions and things. So, okay. We created, and then, okay, I just remember the timestamp at the very end when we talk about our summary, I guess. So, okay.
Well, and also, if after it uploads, you can on YouTube rewind it back and see when we start our summary, and then grab the timestamp off of there if that's easier too.
Okay, perfect. That's a good idea instead of just trying to guess where it is. Because I would not have guessed that we talked for 40 minutes last time, but that's what YouTube said.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so the first group question is how much revenue does DropBox have? And so we went over to Exhibit 8. Let's see here. I wonder if I can share my screen.
Yeah, because it says somebody should share their screen, doesn't it?
Screen share. Share. Okay. Okay. So did it work? Can you see my screen?
Uh-huh.
Perfect. So we're looking at Exhibit 8 from the case, and in their revenues, so they have, and these are in thousands. So this is 8 million the first year, and then 19 million the second year, and then 16,000 the third year.
16 million.
6 months. Okay, yeah, 16 million. 6 months into 2010, or the third year. So.
Oh, so this is only half of the year. Then are we calculating revenue for the end of 2010 or just the middle 2010?
I believe as far as from the numbers here, we're only calculating to like June of 2010.
Yeah, because that's where the case stopped, isn't it?
I believe so.
Okay. We don't need to like guess the future.
I was like, if we're guessing, this 14 million loss is going to probably be a lot bigger.
Well, it might be smaller if they get more revenue. They would end up having more like gross profit, which could lower their.
That is true.
Loss. It's a good question.
Because the cost of revenue is how much it costs them to make that money. Because they still have to, have their lights turned on every day. They still have to like pay Amazon for the storage of all the different stuff. So the gross profit, that's actually their profit that they make afterwards.
Yes. After they take out probably like just basic fees. I don't know.
Okay. Let me pull up my Excel and see here. Because I'm wondering, just to see if I have those numbers correct. Woo! Get back. Okay. So I'm wondering if we do. We'll just keep it simple. So 9,236 subtract the 23,470. Okay. So yeah. So the gross profit minus all the operating expenses equals our loss. So it's either operating loss or operating gain. We have a loss at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we get this $14 million loss down here.
Okay.
Okay, so you're reading that correct. So they really are operating at a loss so far. So far. Okay.
Yeah, so they're not profitable.
Not profitable. I think that's one of my other. Stop sharing. That was one of the other questions. Let me go back to it.
Yeah.
So how profitable is Dropbox? Well, as far as I can tell, they're not profitable so
At
far.
this point, they're not.
I mean, they do have like a gross profit. So I mean, not taking into effect like everything else that they have to pay for, but like for their gross profit before other stuff's taken out, they do have 9 million. But then once everything else is taken out, then they're operating at a loss. So overall, they're operating at a loss, but their gross profit's 9 million. So I mean, so they are growing in profit, but it's costing them a whole lot more in like research and development and administrative expenses and marketing. Let me share my screen again. Screen share. Did it work?
Not yet.
Okay. So their gross profit is 9 million, but then they spend 4 million on research and development, and so that's whenever they're like looking into all the other companies probably and find out what they're doing, and then for them to have employees, all 8 of them, I guess, it cost 2 million, but then it's 16 million for sales and marketing. So, because if I remember right, in the case, they were talking about having to pay for like per click or like like I know like if you go into Google or like those ads that are on the side of Facebook, because my husband had to look into this one time for one of his jobs. Like they basically pay if somebody clicks on their ad. But
yeah, I did it for a class once, like Google AdWords, pay-per-click. Every time somebody clicks, yeah, then you have to pay, and it can but you can kind of limit the amount that you have to pay for. But if you're really trying to get the word out there, then you want to pay a lot, or else your ad's not going to show up as much.
Because they were trying to bait, like almost like bait people to come in and look for them and come to their website, but people weren't actually looking for them, or people weren't even like, looking for storage space. And so like they paid for all this marketing, and it really didn't help. But then they stopped paying for marketing, and then it ended up that word of mouth ended up being a whole lot better for them.
Yeah, which is kind of smarter and cheaper in the end. Like if that's how they gather new users and new paying users, I don't know. I think they should just stick with that way. It seems to be the cheapest and most effective way of gaining new users is by referrals and stuff.
And they were also trying to like almost like partner up with other people, being like, hey, whenever you make a brand new laptop, just have Dropbox on there automatically, because people don't go looking for it, but they'll use it if it's there.
But that kind of ended up backfiring, didn't it? Not backfiring, but like not working out for him.
If I remember correctly, yeah, it didn't work. Or they were planning on doing it, but then the deal fell through or something like that.
I think that's what I read.
So regarding their profitability, is this a problem? Yes, no, and why? So, I mean, I think if you're not having a business that's profitable, that's always a problem. I don't know how it could be anything good or how it could not be a problem. I mean, unless they just figure, we're just a new company, so we're going to be operating loss, and we're just going to keep moving forward. So maybe it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah. I think the same way. I think it's not good, but yet, most startups end up operating at a loss for 7 years, don't they? And so they're kind of plugging along like they should, I think. Right?
Yeah,
that could be the other side of it. Like, well, that's kind of normal for where they're at right now, but yet it's not good at the same time.
I'm also wondering, how do you figure out where does it stop being okay? Like IT companies, it might take them a long time to actually become profitable, because it takes a whole lot of money to build it up in the first place. Like to pay all the developers or all the IT engineers or whatever, to all the programmers to create your software. Like, it's going to cost some money to do that, but at a certain point, like how many millions of dollars? I mean,
Yeah.
you can claim bankruptcy and be like, "Hey, bye, I'm out."
Yeah. When is enough enough?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Maybe, I don't know. I think it's probably different for each company.
I mean, because 14 million or 19 million, I mean, that wasn't enough. But maybe he was also just believing that, we just don't even have the word out far enough. So there's not any way to gauge it. So
yeah, I knew there was still growth.
Yeah. We're still in baby stages. Like, I mean, well, actually, weren't they even still in beta at one point?
At the beginning, I know they were, but I don't know if they were in 2010.
I'm like, is this after the full launch, or it might be, because I remember watching a video that said like in 07. Yeah, in 07 they hadn't launched yet, so probably by 010 they probably launched.
Yeah, because it said, I know on page 8 here, it talks about in mid 2009 they had like support forums. Let's see. They were conducting occasional usability tests in 2009. And so I think they were launched, but they were just seeing kind of how it worked. If people had problems in certain areas.
To back up, it was AdWords. That's what they were using to try and get their name out, or have people search for them. It was AdWords. That's what was costing them a whole ton, a whole 16 million. Research and development. Goodness gracious. Or for marketing, whatever. Yeah. I'm thinking it is 2010. But I was also thinking about how did I get introduced to Dropbox? And I got introduced to Dropbox via my husband because he was using it for videos and other things. And then I needed to send something to him. And like, we're at the house, I'm on my computer, and his computer is like 10 feet from mine. And he's like, just send it through Dropbox. Like, we didn't even think, hey, let's use our flash drives that we have. Like,
Yeah.
it was like the Dropbox. Or maybe we couldn't find a flash drive at one point in time. Or maybe it was that we wanted to send something to somebody else, or I don't know. But he was just like, just use Dropbox. Like, it's no big deal. And so, like, I downloaded to my computer, and I've used it for multiple things so far. Like, we send pictures to family in California through Dropbox. Nice. For them to get pictures of our kids, they had to download Dropbox. So, like, I mean, I didn't go looking for them online. I didn't even think about an online cloud space. The only thing I could think of is I need to send, I need to send a lot of pictures to them, and I want to get to them sooner than mailing them, like going and printing pictures. I just want to send them the files so they can do whatever they want with them.
Well, yeah, and it's hard to like send them in an email because you can only send so many before the email's too big. And then it gets complicated sometimes, and that's nice.
Here's 2 pictures, and here's another email with 2 pictures, and here's another email with 3 pictures because the pictures happen to be smaller. Oh, but here's 2 more pictures. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. It's a lot nicer.
And I actually remember somebody at church, like, we had like a big, huge stake social, and they used their Dropbox. They just had a file on their Dropbox with all the pictures that had been taken. And I'm like, that could have been a couple gigs. But they used it, and they said, from this time to this time, you can access the pictures, and after this time, all the pictures are going to be gone. And they just handed out little slips of paper to people that had like the shortened Dropbox. It said, like, if you want to download Dropbox at this, you can download Dropbox here. It's free. And so they had like instructions of download Dropbox and go to this like this little website. They gave the little website.
That's cool.
And so I'm like, we've used Dropbox for that. So I can totally see how I can really understand how trying to pay for marketing didn't work, because I never went and looked up Dropbox online or any type of cloud storage space. But I heard about it through somebody else because they used it.
Yeah, and so that's why it probably cost them so much money, and it wasn't ending up helping them in the long run because that type of marketing didn't work for this company.
Yeah. I mean, maybe at one point in time, like after they hit like a certain spot, but I thought it was really smart how they were having like the little demos and how he was sending out like little videos to different people. Like, I thought that was really smart.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
So
that was very smart.
Okay, let's see here. Next question: should Dropbox develop a professional version to attract more valuable customers? So I thought their version that they have right now, like at the beginning, was pretty professional.
So did I. Yeah, I think they should more like stay true to the course, just because they might go to all this time and effort and money to make this professional version where what they have now is fine and can work for people. They just maybe need to make a few tweaks. Just, but it in my opinion, I think it might end up costing them more money in the end than the revenue they might make off of it. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, like, I'm not a paying user for Dropbox. I haven't ever paid for it because I've never needed more space than like the 1 gig or 2 gigs that they've given me. But I think it's pretty nice that as a regular user, I mean, I'm not running a business or anything, so I don't really know what they mean by a more professional version. Like I appreciate the professional version that they have now. I mean, I don't know if I would ever think that because I'm not a paying user for Dropbox that I can't use all the cool features that they already offer, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because like their logo is that it just works, and I'm like, it does just work. I mean, it's easy enough and it's simple enough. So why would you complicate it or make it complicated for people, for other people, and make it less complicated for others? That might end up like taken away from your whole original motto or your original focus. So, I mean, it makes sense to me to have like one version for everybody. But then if they're really a cloud storage space, if that's their main focus is just having cloud storage and accessibility, then anybody would need that, really. And if they want to pay more for it, then they'll pay more for it. If there's not any value to them, they're not going to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, and they're doing so well because they're not like the other cloud storage space people who have the pro version and who have a lighter version and everything. So why do they want to make themselves like those other companies who haven't been doing so well?
I mean, they already have kind of a light version because they have some free storage for people, and then people that want more than the free storage, then they just pay for it.
Yeah. And it's like, why you don't need any more than that? I don't know.
I wonder what features they would put in the professional version. I mean, because I remember reading that people were saying that they wanted it to be possible so they could actually put their entire like documents folder into the Dropbox, and it should change in both places, type thing. I'm like, that seems really tricky.
Yeah.
I gotta understand why somebody would want to do that in the first place.
I can see like maybe somebody want to do that like just to make sure they have all their files backed up somewhere. But then in the end, like the case study was saying, the complexity of like the work files and home files and like everything coming together and just it'd be a mess. And so I feel like that was really wise of Dropbox too, to be like, no, we're not going to implement that because we can see problems that the users potentially can't see down the road.
Yeah, because I don't understand programming. I just think this is a cool idea.
Yeah. So I felt like that was very wise to hold off on that and not do it just because somebody suggested it.
Yeah, because it just might not work.
Yeah. Might not work the way the person thought it would either. So. Yeah.
So let's see here. It says if your calculations show that they are not profitable, what are the problems that might cause or bring up because they're not being profitable? Well, they aren't going to be able to hire any more like programmers.
Well, I guess they could, and then just have even less profit, right?
Yeah. But if they, I'm wondering at what point are they not going to be able to pay for storage space?
Yeah. When are they going to run out of money?
Yeah.
Like people, it'll be hard to get like loans or people to back their company if they're constantly showing that they're operating at a loss. So it'll be hard to get funding later down the road if they need it.
Yeah, I wonder how they're like board of directors. They may not have a board of directors. Well, because they're so tiny, they don't have a board of directors. They have 8 employees.
I think they might. I read somewhere. Where did I read that it talked about the board? Said the board said something about, and the board. I bet the board consists of investors.
I would think so.
Let's see.
Whiteboard. It was June 2010, and he had just finished a board meeting. So it's at the very, very beginning, first paragraph. Things were going well. Dropbox had plenty of cash in the bank. If cash in the bank, then why do we show you're operating a loss if you have cash in the bank? I don't know. Activations continued to ramp up, and the company's freemium business model was working well. If you have cash in the bank, then how are you operating at a loss?
Maybe they're still operating a loss just because of like bills they owe. Is that
Maybe.
how that works?
Because there was a gross profit there.
Maybe that's their cash in the bank.
Maybe. Okay. Well, I don't know.
Interesting.
Oh, bless you. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So they all of the investors. That's probably where exactly his board comes from, because he's gonna have to be anybody that's backing him.
Mm-hmm.
Is gonna be like, okay, we want like a monthly update, like how are things. What are you going to do next? Like, what do you plan to do to get our money back? So I'm pretty sure that's who's in charge of that.
I think so too. Sorry, keep yawning. Ooh.
I'm like, I don't see. Okay. Yeah, there's a part, page 3, talks about early stage financing. So.
Okay.
Dropbox received $15,000 in funding from Y Combinator. That's only $15,000. And they provided $20,000 of seed capital. But we're talking millions. So, and these are just thousands.
Later down on page 4, it says, upon conclusion of the Y Combinator program in September 2007, Dropbox raised $1.2 million of convertible debt from Menlo Park.
Okay. Okay, and then it goes to beta testing. So, I'm thinking our numbers may be off. Maybe we're not calculating it correctly. But I don't know how to calculate any way besides the way that we're doing it. So I'm going to go with their spreadsheet at the bottom. We're just going to say that they're still operating at a loss.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I'm going to go with their spreadsheet as well.
I'm like, because the spreadsheet that they had on the other, like on the little demo, like freemium profit spreadsheet, all the details for that. So, and it's really hard to calculate, you know, if they offer, if some customers, out of those, you know, 80,000 customers that we calculated, because 2% are paying, it's really hard to say, you know, are each of those customers paying $99 or $199 or $5 or not, you know, or well, they're paying, but it's hard to gauge how much everybody is paying what. So
yeah, like, there's not the set price that's solid across the board.
Yeah. So okay, what was the last question? There was one last question. If your conclusion, okay.
I think we got them all.
I know you want to be part of the discussion too. So I guess for our summary, right? 10-11. So basically, our conclusion is that we think they should just keep going. Just keep swimming, Dropbox. You'll be okay.
Stay the course. I think if they stay the course, it'll end up working out and not giving them unnecessary costs that don't ever turn a profit.
Well, I mean, and they did something different. If they were able to drop their loss from going up, like I mean, it went up to 19 million and then it dropped down to 14 million. And so, I mean, so they're doing something better.
Absolutely.
So maybe if they just keep going at what they're doing, then eventually they'll get everything better. So.
Yeah, well, and it had already dropped so much. It had already dropped 5 million, and that was only 6 months in. That was only at the end of June. So if they keep going at exactly the rate they are, it could drop 10 million.
Even more.
And even more if they keep growing. So.
And maybe only be at like a 4 million loss instead of almost 20 million.
Yeah. And in coming years, then they could end up operating in the positive.
Yeah. I can't remember from my accounting days if they add year to year the operating loss, like if they calculate the debt in there also. So maybe their total operating loss is going down too. That would be nice.
Yeah. Yes, it would.
So stay the course because they're looking better and they're making better decisions. And we also think that they don't need to try and make anything fancy smanchy for anybody else. It might cost them more if they do. And what they have right now looks really, really good. There's no reason to make something special for another customer when all the customers are going to use it the same.
I agree.
So, okay.
Alrighty.
Well, I guess I will. Okay, so I will stop broadcast.